Good day, everybody. Today is a beautiful day, and I have one of my very, very good friends with me again. His name is Lanre Badmus. We call him the Eskimo, or I call him the Eskimo, with these an emphasis that I like to put. He studied law, so he's a barrister and he's a poet. He has a very, very unique way of putting words together to tell stories. And without further ado, I want to bring my man onto the show. Please welcome Lanre Badmus for me.
Thank you, sir. It's good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for honoring my invitation. All right. So as a tradition, I like to know how your upbringing has shaped who you are today. So just tell us about those very important events while you were growing up that have helped shaped your personality, your word outlook, and life generally.
Well, I grew up in a large family. I have a brother and I have two younger sisters. But growing up, we had a lot of cousins staying with us. So since I was young, I've learned to be the man of the people. There were times we were like 20, 19 in my father's house. So I've learned to interact with people. I can't do without people, and that made me so much sociable. And going to school, I became so popular right from my primary school days to secondary school days because of my social abilities, my social skills. I was given the name Eskimo. And since secondary school to university till now, people still refer to me as Eskimo. So growing up with a lot of people made it easy, and it's still making it easy for me to socialize. I laugh, I mix easily, and I think basically that has shaped me to the person I am.
Oh, good. So that will bring me to, then what then formed the interest you have in law? Why study law?
Good. Well, growing up, I felt I was going to be a doctor. It got to a time I thought I was going to be a soldier. But I still have a sister, like an aunt. She's Idowu saying, and she was going out with her husband now, but it was then, you understand. He was a lawyer, and I was in GSS3, and he painted a beautiful picture about lawyers. You understand, he's still a lawyer, and I feel like, man, I'm going to be a lawyer. And I asked him, what do I need to become a lawyer? He said I must pass my government, my literature, and my English language. So I focused so much on those subjects, and I had good grades in my WAEC and my GC. I was admitted to study law in the University of Ilorin, and gradually I started getting interest, and I went to law school 2005. I became a lawyer. And with constant practice, I've practiced for 15 years now, with good court judgments, landmark judgments, in fundamental human rights proceedings, in election petitions, in criminal law. I fell in love with law.
So you are one of those people that have been eating our election petition money. Look at my brother. Okay.
In 2019, I had 3 election petitions, and I'm a lawyer to INEC. And luckily for me, I won the 3 in 2019. Federal High Court, Election Tribunal, and Court of Appeal.
Yeah, awesome. Good stuff. But despite your very, very busy schedule as a lawyer, you also write.
Yes.
You also write. So what's nurture? I mean, how did that interest, come to be?
Well, I will take us back again. I grew up so close with my brother. My only brother is Lanre Badmus, he's a writer. So while we're young, 5, 6, 7 years, we used to tell each other stories, original stories. Oh yeah, you tell me your story. He will tell me stories coming from his head. I doubt if he remembers. Me, I remember even when I was 4 years old, I remember so many things. Then I'll tell him my own too. Composing stories from our heads as
You guys
young
are
as
giving yourself a fables.
Fabulous.
Naija.
Babu, you get it? Right from 5, 6, 7. I can't forget. Then he was particular into comics. He will draw and create a story. I doubt if he remembers. Then like that, I started. Then in my secondary school, as at JSS3, I had a complete book. When I was moving to America last month, I still saw the book and I started laughing, but I kept it for the future. I had a complete book full of errors, I understand, but at least as a GSS3, to have that at the back of my mind that I wanted to write a book is well kept somewhere for the future. Then when I finished my WAEC in 1999, I was at home expecting my admission. Then I just picked up my pen one day. I wrote 2 lines in rhymes. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know where it came from. Though my heart was bold, you made it to be cold. I can't forget. Those 2 lines started my writing careers. Then I had a friend, Dele Obafemi. He's a son of a professor, one of the best writers in Nigeria, Professor Olu Obafemi. So I will take my write-ups to him, to the son, who is my friend, Dele Obafemi. Then okay, we'll correct this, correct that, correct that. Then I knew I was in for poetry. As at year 2000, I was published in Guardian newspaper and Punch newspaper.
Wow.
Then I knew I had stuffs. By 2005, I was a columnist with the Sun newspaper.
Wow.
Consistent columnist with the Sun newspaper, courtesy of the special advisor to the president now, Femi Adesina.
Yeah.
Femi Adesina is a good writer, you know. He writes well. Then I just mailed him one day that I wanted to be a part of his team. He saw my write-ups, he gave me the chance, and he never regretted it. So there's no way I can talk about my poetry without talking about Femi Adesina, because he didn't give me that chance to be a columnist, man, I would have lost interest. But Femi Adesina made sure he nurtured me, he groomed me into who I am today. So thanks to him too.
Good story. Good story.
Yeah.
You know, most of what I know about your poetry and your writing is on Facebook, you know, because I think you are also the founder of Poetic Assassin.
The Poetic Assassin, yeah.
Yeah, so I followed that a lot, and you know, I saw some very, very beautiful stuff from you. So that's awesome. So have you published any book like your brother?
Good. Well, my first poetry book was published in 2009. The Gorgeous Murder. Gorgeous Murder.
Wow.
That seems to be a paradox. How can killing be beautiful? But let me explain myself. What I write is beautiful. But I'm using my pen to write. The pen gets killed because the ink will be finished. I'm killing a pen to create a beauty for you to read. That was the beginning. That was the first book I published on poetry. Large ovation. People calling me here and there. Good work. Then from there, I proceeded. I published my second book in 2012, Grain, White Grain. It's about Nigeria, the Nigerian flag, the Nigerian politics, and other things. It was published in the UK by Otto House. Then after that, I published a novel, a prose, Love in the Mirror. Lovely book. It's a
I think
book
I
on,
saw Love in the Mirror. I
oh
saw
my
that
God.
one.
It's about prostitution, child trafficking, human trafficking, and child molestation. A lovely story. I've been wishing that one producer would just call me one day and turn it to a movie. It's a touching story. When I was writing it, I was crying. If I pick it up today to read, I will still cry. I put myself into it. It was a lovely book. Then after that, in 2019, I published the Poetic Assassin COVID-19 series. It's about my COVID experience, the lockdowns, the deaths, so many things that happened around the COVID-19 period. You understand? I put it on paper. So in all, I've published 4 books, and I'm on one now, right here in Mississippi, America. And I know when it hits the stores, you people will like it. It's about the nature of Mississippi. I have like 60 poems. It will be the first of its kind in Nigeria. It's a poetic travel guide for tourists that wants to come into Mississippi. At most by November ending, it will hit the shelf.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, sir.
Where can people get all these books? Because I think the only one I saw is the Beauty in the Mirror, right? Is that what you call it?
Love in the Mirror.
The Love in
Love.
the Mirror. Sorry, the Love in the Mirror. I think that's the only one I saw. I haven't read it, but I saw when you published it. I think I saw it on Facebook. So where can people get your books?
On Amazon. People can easily access my books on Amazon. And for the last one I published, the Poetic Assassin COVID-19 series, they can also get that on Okada Books. They can get the Kindle, the ebook, and they can get the hard copy. It's all there. It's all there.
So from what you have said now, that means you write poems, you also write prose, and you write, proper novel, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah.
So which of those 3 would you say you are best, with? You are much more comfortable with?
In all sincerity, I'm more comfortable with poetry. Poetry comes so natural. I write like tomorrow will never come. I write poems as if some gods are dictating it to me. I write at least every 4 hours in a day. It's like my meal is like what I eat. When I sleep, I think about poetry. When I write, I think about poetry. As I'm talking to you, I'm already having inspirations. Writing poetry has become a part of me. Like I said in one of my interviews with Daily Trust, I said, poetry is a drug I abuse. I can't just do without it. I write with ease. It comes with ease. I've taught myself to write, I've taught myself to appreciate everything I see. When the rain drops, it's a meaning to me. When the thunder strikes, it has a lot of meaning to me. Everything around me inspires me. I write about everything. I write about anything. Love, nature, heroes, name it. So poetry comes with ease.
If you want to advise anyone to be a good writer and perhaps a better one, what are those things you would encourage them to do?
Good. Number 1, I'll tell the person, don't stop writing. I have a lot of young writers looking up to me, some in Gambia, some in Tanzania, some in Nigeria, messaging me, talking to me. I tell them, keep on writing. Are you writing rubbish? Write that rubbish. Because one day, the rubbish is going to make sense. Young writers, just continue to write. That is number 1. Number 2, don't think about money. Fine, we write for the money too. But basically, my name is more important than the money. Lanre Badmus. I want that name to always ring a bell. So when a young writer is focusing on money, how will I make money? He can never be a good writer, because when the money doesn't come, he loses interest. I've been writing since I was in GSS3. I've started professional writing since, let me say, 2001. Fine, money is coming, but basically, I don't think about the money. I think about how people will appreciate my work, how people will rate me with Shakespeare, with E.E. Cummings, with Picasso, with big writers and big artists. That is my major. So when a young writer has that at the back of his mind, that the name must come before the money, then the sky is no limit.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
And if you look at your passion for writing and your passion for law, which one would you say trump the other?
Well, the truth is there. My passion for writing can't be subdued by any other profession, I'm sorry to say. Fine, I love law. I'm a lawyer, I'm this, I'm that. But writing, my passion for writing is indomitable. It's not beatable. It's just, I feel like a messenger of the gods when I write. I don't know how to explain it for you. I feel I'm a vessel, I'm a vessel being used by some unseen gods. Because the way I write, I don't know. And that was where the name The Poetic Assassin came from. And now it has become an international brand. On my Facebook page, I have like over 17 followers. Not only Nigerians, Tanzanians, Zambians, Ugandans, Ghanaians. So I think my passion for poetry, for writing, it's beyond the world. It's beyond this world.
17 followers or 17,000 followers?
17,000, over 17,000
okay.
followers.
All right.
Still counting.
Yeah, I used to write, and I used to use, because it's been a long time I put anything on my blog. So
Okay.
I know it's difficult at times to put your thoughts together, right? However, I think it is one of the best process of provoking one's thoughts.
Good.
It's because you want to see all the angles that surround the thoughts you are pushing, right?
Yeah.
So don't you have that conflicting interest in perspective when you write? Say, for example, you are writing about a subject and you already have a direction that you want to go with your writing. Then in the process of putting those thoughts together, and the second perspective starts appealing to you, does that happen to you when you write?
Well, it does for every writer. Okay, let me give you this example. In 2018, I was contacted by the manager of a musician in Nigeria. You understand? Okay, write this, write this, write this in a fictional way. The story of the musician's life in a fictional way. So they have the story, but I must create something out of it. So we had agreements and stuff. So I started. Then after a year, we had conflicting interests. Then we wouldn't know what to do about it. They pulled out, I pulled out. I can't abandon this book. The creativity in me spurred me. I changed the story. Totally. That's what a writer must be able to do. A writer must be dynamic. A writer can't be one way. You can't just faced one way, things will happen. Your perspectives will change. When it changes, the writer in you must change. Are you getting my point? Then I changed the story. Wow, if you read it, you're going to love it. But fortunately, we're back together now, and I had to change back the story. And the book should be published by next year by the grace of God. Lovely musician in Nigeria, and you're going to like the book. You understand? But what am I saying? A writer must not be rigid. A writer must be flexible.
So yeah, this will take me back to some point you just made now. All right. Out of the original story that you were writing for the writer,
Yeah.
another perspective came to
Yeah.
you. And you
Yes.
have perhaps gone into that perspective and written
A lot.
I mean, a lot about it.
Yeah.
Now you and your client, you are back together.
Yes.
So what would you then do to develop the second story?
Now I've forfeited the second story because of my clients who wants a solid story. So I have to satisfy him. I don't mind forfeiting my own story because there are several stories in my head. Several stories in my head. But my aim, I have to satisfy him because the truth is, when the book comes out, it's going to be a plus to me. It's like, for example, myself and Two-Face writing a book. You get what I'm trying to say? You understand? So the other, I don't mind. Most of the times, I don't mind losing a work of art. Why? Because there are several for me to produce. Like I mailed a producer right here in Mississippi. I mailed him 2 weeks ago. I showed him some works of mine. He didn't reply me, and I sent him another message that by the time I become a hot cake, he would have wished he grabbed me first. I'm so certain about myself. It's not pride, it's just confidence. I sent him a mail. You will have wished you grabbed me first because I know there are so many things to be created. Everything, I weave everything with words. I weave situations with words. I weave happiness with words. I weave sadness with words. There was a time I told my readers, I am poetry. The confidence must be there for a writer if you know what you're doing, if you know what you have in yourself. I used to call myself poetry, and I still believe I'm poetry.
I believe I asked your brother this same question because it's important that when we have the blessing of talent and understanding of the skill or craft, or we also have to give back to the society.
Mm.
So if I may, do you have any formal or perhaps informal way of training young writers,
So
to earn their skills?
that's a good question. When I was in Nigeria, I was invited to so many seminars, writing workshops where I've talked to intending writers. Foundations will call me, NGOs will call me. Physically, on the internet, I address young writers. My joy is to impart knowledge in people. And even on Facebook, people come into my mail, into my inbox. How do I become a good writer? Not only Nigerians, people from Gambia, Namibia. Okay, do this, do this, do this. I reply them. Some will come back to thank me. There's a lady now, she's from, I think she's in Jos Plateau. She came to my inbox 2017 and I gave her some hints. When this girl writes now, oh my God, she is the bomb. I read it, I may not like it, I will just smile. I'm happy for her. then I'm happy for myself that I'm imparting knowledge on people. That is the way one can give back to the society. And most of these things I do, I don't take money. All I don't take money, not most. If I'm invited to talk to writers, I don't take money. I've never taken money, and I will not take money because I believe God has given me without taking anything from me, and I'm ready to impart others with it.
On that end, what if somebody comes to you and say, I mean, yeah, God has given it to you without taking anything from you, okay, but don't you think people would take your time, your efforts
Mm.
in in teaching them, in making them understand how to
Mm.
do this for granted? Because they're not paying anything for it, and what you don't pay
Mm.
for, you don't
Mm.
find. What
Mm.
would be your answer?
That's a deep one. Well, I look at the person, I look at the organization. Young organizations, they don't have money, I let them go. But if someone should come to me right now, a big organization, Lanre Badmus, this is so dollars. I need you to train. Of course, I'll take it. We're talking money here. I'll take it. Okay, Lanre Badmus, come over to Nigeria. Come and talk about this. I won't use my money to fly. But when I see the person is helpless, he doesn't have money, is young, I don't need to take anything from such a person.
Fair enough. Fair
Yes.
enough.
Yes.
Now, so you said your next book, hopefully you hope to publish it by November,
By the grace of God.
right? Yeah. So
Yes.
do you have a publisher yet, or are you self-publishing it?
Yeah. The last publisher I used, my elder brother introduced me to them. Is it WWR? And they did the yeoman's job. It was a good job they did for me. So I've contacted him, and he's going to do this one too. He's one of the best publishers in Nigeria. Good work, and he's a creative mind too. Uh, I think it's Word WWR. I know what I'm talking about. Lovely guy, lovely guy. Yes.
All right. So, and also people would be able to purchase the book from Amazon and all the
Amazon,
platform here.
Okada, and some stores in Nigeria. Yes.
So going forward now in your career, you know, so are you thinking, to to put writing as your primary,
Mm.
source of income or primary job, or
Mm.
and what is next for you in writing?
Mm. What's next for me in writing? My plan, let me be sincere with you. In the next 2 years, by the grace of God, I'm going to one of the best universities right here in America to study creative writing. Fine, the skills is there, but the school must still polish me. Most of the good writers didn't go to such schools, don't get me wrong. But notwithstanding, what I want is what I want. I still want to go to school. At least I have a master's in creative writing. I have a master's in law, but that is not enough. Master's in creative writing. Then I'll be able to know my suya from my onions.
Yeah. That's very coincidental, because at some point when I was moving to Australia,
Yes, sir.
one of the things I was considering very, very, very seriously was a master's in writing,
Mm.
in creative writing, basically, because I have a particular project in my mind.
Good.
I have a particular project in my mind, and I thought, because I haven't really done a lot of writing, and I was thinking, there's somebody that I love so much. I love what he has achieved with his life, and I was thinking I would like to be his biographer.
Good.
So because of that, I thought, man, it seems I need to go and get a master's in creative writing so that, yes, you can put all together, yes, but because I sit at times and I watch YouTube videos on the technical aspects of writing,
Mm.
and you see, man, it's a science.
Yeah,
It's a
it is.
science, you know,
Writing is a science, I
and
believe.
if you might be using some of those techniques, but you do not really know
Hmm.
how best to use them. But
Yes, sir.
people who are in that industry, they know it.
They know better.
They understand why you use them.
Hmm.
So to cut the long story short, I agree with you that yes, an education, in that industry or in that field would boost, and you have that way you can have some awareness of why you do what,
Hmm.
instead of
Hmm.
just, okay, this is the way I like to do it. You understand the technicality behind it,
Good.
which is awesome.
The professionalism. Hmm.
Yeah, which is
Sir.
awesome. And every industry has its own ethics and
Good.
code of conduct and all of those things. So
We
again,
learn. Hmm.
yeah, that would bring such industry nuances, if I may, to your consciousness.
Yes, sir.
So now you cannot invest so much money into going to school to
Hmm.
study technical or creative writing
Hmm.
without having an end game in mind. So what is
Hmm.
the end game?
The end game is fame and money. That's the truth. Fame, a lot of written books. Fame, a lot of new ideas for people to visualize. Then with that, I'm 100% sure good money will come. Fine, money is coming in trickles now. But like I said, my eyes is more on my name than the money. But there's no way the money will also come.
I was going to say that is a bit conflicting. You just told us in one breath that money is not and now we are hearing fame and money. I'm wondering what is happening here. I am
That's just
wondering what is happening here. Am I being bamboozled or what?
I'm going to spend a lot of money going for the masters in creative writing. So, like you said, am I just going to throw that in the waters? No. It's like my own scripture said that our skills with our talent will dine with kings and rich men. So, what is the essence of dining with kings and rich men without having money?
So the end game is to continue writing. I mean, that seems to be what you want to primarily do into the foreseeable future now.
I can't stop writing. All I do is write, write, write. I'm at times I write more than I eat. I'm being sincere with you. Writing is just a part of me. I write about everything.
Would you consider academics, like going into the schools for lecturing, after your master's, taking up a PhD, would that be an option for you?
It's an option. It won't be a bad idea. It's a good option for me. It's a good option for me that I will check out.
I'm not very vast about, how writers, how they make money and how they
Okay.
convert their talent into cash. So what are a young person watching this conversation thinking, okay, yes, I know how to write. Yes, I have passion for writing, but how do I monetize that skill? What are
Okay,
the
okay.
ways, what are the ways a writer can monetize his skill?
Good. Now, there are some sites. that young writers can join. I don't want to advertise them. When you join them, you write. When you write, a token is kept in your wallet. And gradually, the more you write, sensible write-ups, the money accumulates. You can say, okay, when I was in Nigeria, I can say convert it to Naira, send it to me. I can say let it be in the wallet. There are paying sites when it comes to writing. Young writers can Google that up. Then I've reached a stage where people come into my inbox and tell me they want to buy my poem. Okay. How much? Okay, this, please take this. We bargain. They take it. The moment they take it, it's no longer in my name. But to get to that stage, you must be constant and consistent with your writing. Another way is to publish. You don't have to wait for traditional publishing if they don't come. Self-publish, invest your money. Then royalties will be coming. My publisher in the 2012, I was in Nigeria. I published in the UK, and they sent my checks to me in pound sterling. So I couldn't cash them. And when I got to America, I mailed them. I'm in America now. I would like to be paid in dollars. My royalties to be paid in dollars. All the checks I did not cash, convert them from pounds to dollars. So that means through publishing, you can make royalties. Through publishing, you can sell one-on-one to people. Daddy, I published this. How much are you going to pay for this? Daddy, I published it. It's 20,000 naira, but you can pay me 50,000 naira. Daddy, I published this. It's $12,000, but you can pay me 50,000. It's $12, you can pay me $50. Those are the ways you can make money through writing. Then it gets to a stage your book sells on its own. The name is there, John Grisham. It sells on its own. Then you attend book fairs, trade fair, book fairs, where you are there to sell your books. It's common here in America. Book fairs in New York, in Mississippi, here and there. You travel, you go with your books. Then you introduce yourself. I'm Lanre Badmus. This is my book on this, okay? You sell. So in all, a writer must be resourceful to make money. Yes,
so there is a business end to writing.
Oh, there is,
and people need to learn the business angle of writing, because otherwise just churning out creative content and writing will not put food on the table.
It will not.
So you have to also, whilst you are learning how to write and learning how to put prose and all of those together, you need to also learn how to make money from it. Yeah,
exactly.
How
we call it marketing. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So out of all these streams of income that you have listed, which one would you say pays more?
I believe publishing pays more. When you publish and it's a good book, it's going to sell it. It will sell itself. If it's a good book, it will sell itself. Then I've seen writers that published and the book was not a hit, and suddenly years after it becomes a hit, and it keeps selling more than even what the writer thought it will sell. No book is wasted. If you published a book in 2001 and it's not yet selling, it can still sell in 2030. So I believe book publishing it sells more. You'll be surprised, even the former president of America, Donald Trump, he has a lot of books that still sells till date. Obama, he has Audacity of Hope and several good books. They sell well. So some people, all they do is write and they are making the money. We will get to that stage, but it's gradual. Patience, contentment, we'll get to that stage.
I know of Seth Godin. I mean, is a very prolific writer. He blogs every day, and he has been doing that for I think about 15 or so years, if not more than. But don't quote me on that.
That's the person I call a writer. He blogs every day.
That means and he has published over 17, I think about 17 or 18 books. But his area of specialty is largely marketing, copywriting. Yeah, brilliant guy. Brilliant guy.
I love guys like that.
Yeah. So if you want to project into the future, okay,
yeah,
what area of writing would you say you would want to really focus on, and what do you think will guide your interest towards that area?
Well, if I want to be biased, I will have focused more on poetry. But I've seen that prose has more audience than poetry. So I have no choice. I would love to focus more on prose. Prose has, you're telling a story. Your novel can become an adaptation into a movie. Prose has more marketing values than poetry. Poetry is just for lovers of poetry that, oh my God, word, oh, lines, stanzas, you understand? But more people have passion for prose than poetry. So I would like to have my focus or more focus on prose writing than poetry. I do playwriting too, but most of my playwritings are not published. But prose, oh my God, there is a lot of market for prose.
And what would you say would be the mark of fulfillment for you in your writing game in future? What would you say, okay, if I achieve this, yes, I would say to myself, okay, I have arrived.
Oh my God. In all sincerity, the moment my name becomes a household name in all the continents, I'm contented. I'm not thinking about the money. I'm saying it with all authority. The moment you can call my name in Asia, Lanre Badmus, you can call my name in South America, Lanre Badmus, and Europe, Africa, I'm fine. I'm more about the name than the money. I call myself the Black Shakespeare. At times, it was a friend that called me that first. But Black Shakespeare. Do you know what it means to be Shakespeare? From ages, and we still want to be Shakespeare. I want the incoming generations to say, I'm Lanre Badmus. The name goes a long way.
That's very beautiful. When you are not writing,
okay.
When you are not writing, what else do you do?
All right. Let me be sarcastic first. When I'm not writing, I'm still writing. That one aside. But in reality, when I'm not writing, I'm reading. If I'm not reading, I'm watching comical clips. I love comedy. I love comedy a lot. All these young guys doing skits. Oh my God, I love them. All these Wuliagba, Macaroni. I love those guys. There's one new guy in Ibadan that will knock at the door of your window and I forgot
remote.
Oh, geez. I love him. So I watch these things a lot. But another passion I have, oh my God, I love PlayStation. I've played PlayStation 1 till 5. And if 6 comes out today, I must play it today. Then I love listening to music. I got a lot of inspiration from music. In short, I'm social. I'm social. So those are the things I do if I'm not writing. I
And
I hardly
you
I hardly
no,
gist. I hardly have friends to gist. No, no. If I gist with friends for 30 minutes, I'm done. Fine.
so you mentioned that you read books. Okay,
Yeah.
one may ask, what are the kind of books that interest you?
Well, I read mostly from old poets. I check out their works. I read. I read about them, what they were into when they were living, the kind of social lives they lived. I try to compare what they are doing to what I'm doing. But I'm always scared to read. Okay, how will I put it? I'm careful with my reading. My style is different. I've seen young boys copy my style. I don't mind. I love it. I don't want a writer's style that will influence my writing. I'm not proud. It's not pride. I don't want it. So I'm always careful with my reading because I want my style to be my style. I want you to pick up my book, even without my name, and say, Lanre Badmus wrote this. So since I'm a writer, I'm very careful what I read. You can't say I copied any style. I can vouch for myself. But still, I read poetry, I read about their biography. Then Jide, my brother, influenced me. He reads a lot, novels and stuff, action novels. So to an extent, I read John Grisham because I love legal writing. He's into legal fiction. So basically, it is.
So why would you say, because I understand the angle you are coming from when you
Yeah.
said you like to guard yourself from reading works that might, influence how you write.
Yes.
Why is that so?
Why? There's this guy, E. Cummins, old guy. I never knew I was writing like him until Femi Adesina, the special advisor to the governor on publicity, until he pointed out to me that I write like E. Cummins. I think he's an old British man, writer. And I started reading his book, Lovely Writer. Then I got to know gradually I was tending towards a style. I had to pull back. I want an undiluted style. I want Lanre Badmus style, just Lanre Bad, my style. Because the more you read, you will lose focus and you will not be original. You start writing like the ones ahead of you. And I don't want that. I want originality. I want purity. My writing, I want. Sir, if I pick a poem now from young ones and I read the first two lines, I know this guy has read my works. There's a young poet now, I don't want to mention his name. I gave him a call. I gave him a call before I left Nigeria and I commended him. Young boy, he writes every day. I'm sorry to use the word, it's crazy like when it comes to writing. But going through his works, I knew it's my style. But I don't mind. I called him, I encouraged him, and I made some promises to him. That is my own fear. I don't want to read some works and destroy what I've been building from the scratch. I want my style to be original.
Now I get it.
Yeah.
So you you've talked about how you want to, guide your writing style and not dilute it. So does that mean you do not read a lot of poems compared to prose and other kind of writing, just so that you don't, dilute your style?
If I'll be sincere with you, I I I have read in my early days, in my early writing days, I read Wordsmith, I read Shakespeare, I read E. Cummings, I read some British writers. Okay, good. I've read Wole Soyinka's works. I'll be sincere with you on that. But luckily, I don't write like him. Luckily. So it's easier for me to read Wole Soyinka's work because it can't dilute my work. Baba is Baba, you understand, and his style is abstract, is totally different. So I can read his works. But when it comes to prose, I have to be careful reading Chinua Achebe's works because he writes in simple form. I write in simple forms that even if a vulgarizer picks up my book, they will love it. So I have to be more careful reading Chinua Achebe's works because I tend to write like him when it comes to prose. Are you getting my point? I can pick Wole Soyinka's work. I read some essays. The man died. I read some of his poems, Telephone Conversations, and I read his plays, Charles of Brother Jero. I don't write like him, so I'm comfortable reading Wole Soyinka. I've read John Pepper Clark, fine, some of his works, but most of the reading I do when it comes to poetry are foreign writers, Robert Frost, you understand, and the likes.
Yeah, it's interesting that you brought Wole Soyinka up. I
Ooh.
don't think I don't think I have finished any of his books that I've laid my hands on before. For some reason, I find it too abstract, too uncoordinated, and in a way, you also want to tend to go to the dictionary a lot to search the meanings of some words, and it doesn't. So there's no fluidity. Fluidity. Sorry, in the thought process. When I'm reading his work, I find it very difficult to follow. So midway, I go just drop and say, this man.
And fortunately, yeah.
But Chinua Achebe,
good.
I love his writing. His writing hits you, like somebody speaking your native language to you. You don't need an interpreter. You don't need anybody to say, this is what Baba is saying here. It flows, and that doesn't take anything from Professor Wole Soyinka.
Yeah.
He's an authentic, he's also a very, very brilliant person. Very, very, very brilliant person.
Well,
but it is just very difficult to read some of his works.
You're right. You know what, Wole Soyinka, I believe that is a selling point. And that was why the world accepted him. They couldn't underrate him. He was not writing for an ordinary man on the streets. You are right. Some of his books, I did not finish it. I started reading Wole Soyinka in 1999. It was my friend, Dele Obafemi, that introduced me to his works. And the work of his father, to Professor Obafemi. Professor Obafemi writes like Wole Soyinka. Their style is. Wole Soyinka, his first book I read was The Man Died. Do you understand? No, I had to be picking up dictionary to check words. And it helped my speaking. It helped my writing. I got to know new words. But you will appreciate Wole Soyinka more in his plays. Drama plays, you understand? When it comes to Baba's books, fiction or essay, oh my God, is not writing for ordinary men like us. Let me include myself. You understand? And I think that actually won him so many accolades. And I'm glad.
If we go back to law, just
Yes, sir.
before we end this chat,
Yes, sir.
which of the cases that you have done
Hmm.
you say is very challenging and at the same time very rewarding for you?
Permit me to mention two cases. The first case was a criminal case, armed robbery case, 2013, 2012. The, the director of public prosecution in Kwara State was on the other side for the state. And I was for one of the armed robbers. Lovely case, crazy case, demanding case. I was young, I was hot. I love criminal law a lot. And at the end of the day, after like a year, I won the case. Then after winning the case, morality came checking on me. How would you allow somebody that may have actually committed the crime, how will you allow him to go? But luckily for me, a year after, he was back in prison for another crime he committed. So that gave me peace of mind. Then the second case was against a popular university in Nigeria. I don't want to mention the name. That was 2013, 2014. They alleged that my client stole a laptop. They shackled him. They locked him up in the school cell. They didn't give him food. They didn't give him water. So I filed a fundamental human rights proceeding against the university. And I won. And the school was not satisfied, and they went to Court of Appeal. And I still won them. So these two cases, I think they are the most difficult, and they are the most difficult cases that brought me success. So those are the two cases.
Yeah, good. And I think on this note, we can call it a wrap. But before we do, if there is a kid out there, that wants to be a lawyer, because I've asked for those who want to be writers, that wants to be a lawyer, what would how would you advise them, or how would you advise them to go about it?
In all sincerity, I will always tell anybody that wants to be a lawyer to be a lawyer. I could remember in 2000 and I was still with my boss, 2010, four boys were going to law school, and they came to me like, how was law school? Blah, blah, blah. Fine, law school wasn't easy. Law school was stressful, but I did not tell them that. I told them, law school, just read your book. You will help pass. Law school is not hard. I was soft with them, but make sure you read your books. And I couldn't believe the four of them passed. It's always hard for four friends to go to law school and pass. One should fail, or one must fail. So I tell boys, calm down. Fine, it's demanding. But you can, if I can pass law school, I tell young people, you can pass law school. Because as a student, I wasn't, should I use the word serious? I don't bother myself so much as a student. I know I'm brilliant. If I don't read for a whole semester, if I pick my book now and you give me an exam in 1 hour, at least I will have a credit. But everybody cannot be like me, you understand? So I tell boys, make sure you read, make sure you're focused. But I believe if I can pass, anybody can pass law school. That's just the truth. Then coming to the profession, it's demanding too. I'm sorry to say, young lawyers earn stipends, especially in Ilorin, where I was. It's not easy. Even the ogas, they are struggling to make this money, except for few. So you can't expect them to pay a young lawyer 60,000, 50,000 naira. I'm so sorry. But if a lawyer can be consistent with God's grace, the sky is no limit. So perseverance and contentment. With that, a young lawyer will make it.
Final question now. I won't ask you anyone after this one.
No problem.
Which African or Nigerian writer inspires you?
Wow. First of all, I will go for Wole Soyinka because of the accolades he's gotten for himself. Of course, I want to be a Nobel laureate winner too. Of course, yes. Secondly, I'll go for Chinua Achebe because his writings touch the grassroots. It touches the family. It touches the social strata. It touches everywhere. Chinua Achebe is a passionate writer. You know, when you read The Things Fall Apart, you know, yeah, that reminds me, this woman, this lady, the purple hibiscus lady, Chimanda, she writes just like Baba, Chinua Achebe. Chimanda writes like, you know, I like her works too. At least I've read like 2 of her works. I'm impressed. But the 2, Wole Soyinka, Chinua Achebe, head of my heart. Yeah.
On that, we will pull the curtain to this chat. Lanre, thank you so much for gracing my show.
It's a pleasure.
It's been an engaging conversation. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, sir.
Yeah,
It's good to be here. Cheers.